Folks, hey, it's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my studio and welcome to my demo of the Orange Acoustic Pre. Great unit right here that I'm really enjoying using, and I think I might end up using this thing in my own guitar rig because it sounds so cool and it's so useful. You heard it on all the guitar parts on that track at the beginning of the video. Incidentally, that was the song Rosemary from Pete Thorn 2, my latest solo album. If you want to check out the album further, there's a link down in the video description below. Now, more about the Acoustic Pre. This is an awesome unit that you can use in a whole bunch of different ways. Essentially, what it gives you is total control over the tone of your acoustic instruments, be them acoustic guitars or mandolins or whatever you got. And it's got all kinds of great EQ, reverb, different patching options and things like that. So let's get into it. So the Acoustic Pre has two separate discrete channels in it, channel A and channel B. Channel A has a 1/4" input and channel B has a 1/4" input as well as an XLR input with 48-volt phantom power. So that means you can use a microphone into channel B. And there's all kinds of different configurations you can use with those two inputs and two separate discrete channels. So for example, in Rosemary, I've got the two hard-panned acoustic guitar parts. What I did for that particular tone is I used my guitar's internal pickup system into channel A via standard guitar cable, and then I used this Audio-Technica small diaphragm mic right here on channel B, and I mic'd up the guitar, and then I blended the two sounds out the output, went into my audio interface and recorded that sound for those guitar parts. So that's just one configuration you could use. But there's a number of different ways that you could use the two channels in this thing. I mean, imagine you've got a guitar and a mandolin and you like to EQ them different, have them set at just the right respective levels for each instrument. You could do that. You could use channel B with its XLR input as a vocal microphone preamp. Have a vocal mic set up and then have your acoustic guitar plugged into channel A and have a nice high quality blended preamp output going to the PA at say a small acoustic gig or even for a recording or something like that. Okay, I'm going to show you how I recorded those tones now using the Acoustic Pre for the various parts in Rosemary, and through doing this I think you'll learn some cool things about the unit and some things I discovered about it. So let's start off with the microphone sound. I've got the mic here. It's an ATM 450, nice small diaphragm condenser microphone from Audio-Technica that I just got recently. And so I've got plugged into channel B, and I'm going to turn up that channel. You can hear what just the mic sounds like. Okay, so if I wanted to now, my chair is creaky. Always hard to record acoustic guitar with this chair. I have to be careful how I sit. So if I wanted to sparkle that up a little bit or change the tone or cut mids or do whatever, I've got the EQ on the unit. That's just adding a bit of treble. So that's the sound of the mic channel. Now I'm going to bring up the sound of channel A, which will give me my guitar's internal pickup system. Okay, now I'm going to bring up channel B, and you're going to hear those two sounds blended together. And that's essentially the sound I used for the guitar parts in Rosemary that are hard panned left and right. Now there's phase switches for both channel A and B, because what can happen when you blend something like a guitar's internal pickup and a microphone together is the direct sound can arrive a little bit faster than the microphone sound, and things can get a little bit out of phase. You might lose low end and that kind of thing. So you'll hear the sound change when I flip the phase. So that's a useful feature to have. It just changes the sound. It's going to change the bottom end. I actually ended up using both the phase invert switches in their non-inverted position, both kind of in their off position, I guess, for the tracks in Rosemary, because it sounded great to me, even though technically I think probably the mic signal is arriving a little bit later than the DI signal, but it seemed to work fine. So for cutting the lead guitar parts in Rosemary, for this particular version of it, what I did was I just used the guitar's internal pickups with no microphone miking the guitar or anything like that. And I thought this would be a good representation of how a lot of people would end up using the Orange Acoustic Pre live. They're probably going to use a guitar with the internal pickup system, and that's it. Maybe running into channel A of the preamp. And what's neat about doing it this way is what you can do is actually run a jumper cable in between the send of effect loop A into the return of effect loop B, and then use the two outputs, and what you end up getting is stereo reverb if you turn up the reverb on the Acoustic Pre. So that's pretty cool. So first let's just address the tone of the guitar. I've got all the EQ set flat on channel A, and I got the gain up around 1 o'clock. Okay, and that's just the guitar running into the Acoustic Pre. Now if I roll this knob in the guitar here all the way sort of counterclockwise, now I just get the sensor in the guitar, what's sort of simulating a microphone. So it's pretty cool. It gives you a lot of warmth and stuff, but it doesn't really have enough maybe clarity or focus to kind of poke the guitar through a mix. But it does have a nice natural sound that I like a lot. So using this roller knob right here, what I can do is just roll in some of the bridge pickup. Now here's just the pickup. This is only the pickup. That's kind of characteristic, you know, a piezo sound, which I don't really like, but you gotta have it. It's one of the only things you can do to get an acoustic guitar to kind of poke through live. Okay, so what I can do then is mix in some of that, sort of the body sensor microphone into that sound. Okay, and that ends up giving me a pretty cool, usable tone that's got a little bit of a warmer quality to it than if you were just using the bridge pickup. I like that. I've got the EQ set flat on the unit right now. What I would probably do, since this is lead guitar part, is maybe dump a little bit of the bass, bring up the treble a little bit, and maybe find a mid-range frequency that'll make this part poke through the mix. Okay, that's pretty cool, I think. That's going to help this guitar part sort of be differentiated from the other guitar parts in the song. And last but not least, what I'm going to do here is just bring up the reverb. So the Acoustic Pre has a really nice stereo reverb built in. So I dig that sound, and that's the tone that I used essentially for the lead guitar part in the track. Thanks for watching my video on the Orange Acoustic Pre. Orange, you guys totally knocked it out of the park on your first try with an acoustic guitar product. I think this thing's just great. I'm totally going to utilize this in my own guitar rig. Recently when I was on tour in Japan, I ran into a situation where I needed a little bit more control over my acoustic guitar tone than what I had just available on the level controls and the EQ on my acoustic guitar. And man, this would have come in really handy. So I live and learn. I can totally see the application for this in my own rig, and it sounds just great. You can check it out further at the website you see there on your screen. And hey, please check out Pete Thorn too as well if you haven't. The song Rosemary that I played at the beginning is available on that record, and it's out everywhere, Apple Music, Spotify. The link's down there in the video description below, so check it out if you would. And please hit subscribe if you haven't. Come back and see me for more videos real soon. I am Pete Thorn. Take care.